Out today. Snowed a bit yesterday, but not enough for me to have to pick up the darn snow shovel. Aha! I win, you lose. I just saw a snowflake. Oh, crap. Anyway, spoke too soon. All right, so World War III update. Got lots and lots of stuff to cover. I really don't know how much longer we're going to be allowed to have opinions. I was watching the CBC yesterday, and they're just, the Google and Zuckerberg they're going to be putting in new algorithms very soon. Don't worry about this fake news anymore, people. It's going to, we're going to save you. So the crackdown is coming. God knows when it's going to hit. So we'll take it as far as we can. It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to go over to North Dakota. Now, I know some people out there, just give me the freaking military movements, but you have to understand how everything plays in. And of course, there's just things that you see that is, like this one, okay, if this isn't odd to you, I can't think of another example in history where you saw something like this, quite like this. The pipeline there over in North Dakota, or South Dakota, where the pipeline protest is there, I can't remember if it's North Dakota or South Dakota. Beautiful state, I remember going through it. I never got to see the monument there, but yeah, anyway, so the pipelines go there. They brought in the Avenger air defense system, okay? Now, the Avenger air system basically is like these two boxes, okay, with 4 Stinger missiles in it. You know the shoulder-launched Stinger missile that you use to shoot down enemy helicopters and low-flying aircraft, that type of thing? Yeah, that thing. And in between it, okay, you've got this, usually got this spinning radar antenna on the top. And then you've got I guess it's a FLIR system mixed in with the laser range finding system, whatever. And then right in the middle of that is a 20 millimeter Vulcan minigun, pretty much. And that, I guess, is to shoot down whatever. So this is at a pipeline protest. The reasoning was given something to do that they're just using the technology to detect drones. Even so, do you not think that's a little bit overkill? And we're, there's no militarization of the police. They got a freaking air defense system there for protesters. What are the protesters flying in with B-52s or something? Like, what the hell? Yeah. And they say I'm the crazy one. Okay. The peace talks in Astana, I guess is how you say it over there in Kazakhstan. You've got the Syrian Arab Army representatives there. You've got rebel groups represented there. You've got, obviously, the Syrian government is represented there. Those talks are still going on, which hopefully lead to some sort of resolve to a degree, or at least a ceasefire. Because I don't think you can really get the United States involved in the ceasefire. It's only going to come from the rebels or ISIS that you'll get ceasefire. And I think you'll probably get some ceasefires. Problem is ISIS is made up of probably about roughly 1,100 different jihadi groups. They might not necessarily all identify as ISIS, but they're really moving as a faction, whether it's the rebel groups or ISIS or Al-Nusra or Al-Sham or whatever the new ones that they keep renaming. That's one of those things so they're still talking. The Iranians definitely don't want the U.S. in there. The Russians are in there. So Turkey, I think, is also in there. So the talks are going on anyway. So we'll have to keep an eye on those. Trump is already sending an embassy architect to Jerusalem. Today, I guess, would be day 6 of Trump. Now, one thing about Trump, you got to bring on. I know people are sick of hearing about him, but I mean, it's so prevalent in the news, and it is a part of what's going on. Is he anti-establishment? I don't know how anti-establishment he is, but so far, the Trump wrecking ball that's come in has taken out Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership, removed LGBTQ from the White House page, removed climate change from the White House page, is basically going after NAFTA. That's not a done deal, but I think he's signing the order either today, tomorrow, the next day, whatever. I mean, this guy hasn't taken a day off since he's been, he hasn't went and played a round of golf yet. Obama, I think, played golf for 2 months before he did it. Speculating there, but you know what I mean. He's supposed to be allowing alternative news into the press conference. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. He's also talking about devaluing the U.S. currency, which could be a way to write off that. But he's also talking about a lot of things that are going to increase it. He's talking about a hiring freeze for the U.S. government, with the exception of the military, which is kind of, again, with Trump, look at it more like a gray area of wins and losses. The other thing that's a win is that he's talking about working with the Russians. Now, there's rumors that the Russians have worked with the U.S. in airstrikes in the past couple of days, which the State Department is denying this. Because what it was Russia flying a bunch of Su-30s with some Turkish, so it's a NATO ally working. So Turkey is switching to the Russian side. How far they'll switch or play both sides, I don't know. With Turkey, they're kind of a bit of a wombat all over the place on Syria. That's what happened. So that's not direct from Russia, U.S. working. But Trump is still talking that talk. Whether that'll happen or not, remember, there's a lot of people that are probably going to be against him on this. The other thing is that the Keystone Pipeline pretty much approved now. The thing is it'll still be a little while before shovels in the ground. Now, that said, I can't really say that he's created more jobs here in Canada than Trudeau has, but he's done it a lot quicker. Trudeau's got the Kinder Morgan pipeline and what's the other one there? There's the two pipelines. Now this one, it's funny how the Liberals, no, we were for this all the time. They were kind of playing the fence, pandering to get elected. So, again, one of two things happened for Trudeau is, so far Trudeau's been basically doing everything Harper was doing 10 times down. Doubling down on it. Can't speak this morning. And stuff like that. So I'm sure Trudeau's like, his electorate is completely pissed with him. He's pretty much, but if he could do that with a balanced budget, it wouldn't be so bad. But so about 4,500 jobs are going to be going roughly to here. When that takes place, who knows? Other things, going on and on and on. There's a lot of wins with Trump, but we still don't know at the end of the day. The Jerusalem thing, trust me, that could create war in the Middle East like that, moving basically the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So it's really hard to say where we're going to end up there, but yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it. A little off topic, 3.3 magnitude earthquake on the 21st at Yellowstone Park. Mary Greeley, she covers a lot of stuff. Little side note, and I get this question every now and then, some of the stuff I research to get where I get. I start my research, Russia Today, then Russia America. I look at those two. Then I go to Right Edition News. If you're Canadian, you'll love this guy. He's kind of a dual citizen. And Brian, they're called Spitz sunflower seeds. He's the guy that not invented, but marketed those. And I've been listening to him for years. If I ever, get off my damn porch. Little black squirrel running across my porch. Who does he think he is? Trespassing. Animals always interrupting my garden videos. But anyway, yeah, he's like he's pretty refreshing to listen to. He does like short little segment comments. So he doesn't post very much, but when he does, I usually check out Scalgrim just to see what he's up to. I don't always watch all of his videos, but sometimes he puts geopolitical. I like Scal. Then I go to Mary Greeley. Then after Mary Greeley, I research Greg Hunter, which I pretty much watch him, every day as well. Then from there, Greg Manarino. Greg Manarino puts out short little clips. Then from Greg Manarino, I go to Fabian for Liberty, I haven't seen anything from him for a couple of months now, but I know he's a busy man too. But he does usually do pretty good stuff. And then AMTV, and then from AMTV, I go check out. Who do I go check out after that? SGT Bull Report, and then X22 Report, and then after that, I do WW3 search, War with Russia search, War with China search, because there's always stuff that pops up kind of sporadically, and then I go South Front, then I go to Next News, and after Next News, that's pretty much my geopolitical stuff. I'll check out Alex Jones. I don't watch Alex Jones every day. I just usually skim through if he's got guests that are say like Paul Craig Roberts or somebody like that, and I look at people like that to see maybe something pops up. And then there's just stuff that Lisa Haven, I check her out from time to time. She's very factual, very excellent. Josh Tolley, I don't check him out as much as I probably should. I think he does a great job. And then just geopolitical stuff just pops up. Some people, I don't believe you do 6 to 7 hours of work, research on this every day. Well, I do. Like, I'm on the internet for at least that long. It's not all WW3 research, but if there's a speech, like, for example, Trump's speech at the CIA headquarters, Trump's speech at the the inauguration, and then, of course, whatever bit is going on. For example, I watched the CBC as well, just to see what their spin is on it. The CBC is as anti-Trump as possible. Again, it's all one media system, right? So when we're starting to see that, like that's the work I do. Like, I mean, it's a little after 9 right now in the morning, so I do the video in the morning, then I, to prepare for the next day. I do most of my research after supper, that type of thing. But I usually go to the hall around, because I have supper very, very early, anywhere from 2 o'clock to 3:45. I go to the hall, and I'm there for a couple of hours. And then I come back here and I go on the internet for another couple of hours. I usually try to get off the internet before 11:30. I try not to, because I got to watch how many gigs. I only get 60 gigs a month, so I got to watch what I use. But that's how I do it. That's how I do it. And I find what I find. And then, of course, you guys send me links for stuff from time to time. Plus, I cover other subjects, too, right? So, all right. The HMS Vengeance. That was the Vanguard-class submarine that had its Trident II ballistic missile ICBM misfire. I know I kind of sensationalized the title in the last one, but, YouTube is, you got to fight to get noticed on there, I tell you, so sometimes I do that, so you'll have to forgive me. But what happened was, this goes back, I think, June or so, June 16th of, I guess, in June of 2016, I don't know the exact, I didn't get the date. The goal was to fire from off the coast of Florida this missile, Vanguard sub, which is the very controversial submarine, boomer sub that the Brits have. And they were going to fire the missile 5,600 miles towards South Africa. However, it went the other way, it went the wrong way. And under the Obama administration, they covered this up, as well as the Brits. They kind of covered it up a bit, and then now it's out. Now, the thing about it is why would they have covered up? Well, the problem is the missile itself. If the missile has a defect in it, so to speak, Trident II missiles have been fired off before. Now, the Trident II missile, I don't know if it works the same way as the Minuteman missiles. Like you have Minuteman 1, 2, and 3. The 1 is 1 warhead, the 2 is 2 warheads, the 3 is 3 warheads, and that's pretty much the biggest you can get in a Minuteman missile. The Russians, pretty much all their warheads are like 6, 10, or 12 type of thing. Like the Sarmat missiles, I think, are going to be 12 warheads. They're unbelievably large missiles. But if there's a problem with the Trident II missile, this is what the Ohio class, I believe, if I'm wrong, somebody will correct me on it, but this is what I believe the U.S. Ohio class boomer subs are firing. And they got 24 of those things in there. So the reliability, I mean, missiles go wrong, and but to go 5,600 kilometers wrong, that's, so that I'm sure is going to be a bit of a saying there. But it's just the fact that it was covered up. Now, was it covered up because, well, we can't make show the Russians any weakness, or was it covered up because, there's a massive defect in this missile, and we can't expose that until we remedy it or whatever, because that'll show us our vulnerability. That's a possibility. The USS Jackson did blast tests. Basically, this is, I think, the new U.S. stealth warships. They fired a blast charge. I forget the exact distance they said, but something like a kilometer or a few thousand yards from the, or a few thousand meters from the ship, just to see what kind of damage it could take, and apparently cracked windows and stuff like that. So, but the fact that they're, seeing how this thing would hold up from close range charges, again, something that they're doing. The George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group is now off to the Middle East. Remember, Obama brought all the aircraft carriers back. again, back, so far the game hasn't changed in the Middle East. Trump hasn't changed that. I don't know if he's going to. I think he wants to do the cleanup in Iraq, stabilize Syria, and then probably they'll go on to Libya. How he's going to do that I don't know. How do you not make it more of a shit show? But the one thing, and again, Trump has been signaling to do, but until he does it, but at the rate he's going at, I mean, if every politician could be this efficient, whether you like them or not, that would be nice. I mean, you could have that here. Like, we don't have the same political system in Canada as the States, so to pass a bill here takes forever. They can bring in a bill overnight, but it takes them forever to get rid of something. As far as I know, like, Trudeau can't sign like executive order type things like that. I don't think he can. If I'm wrong, somebody who might be a little bit more savvy on that than me, but I've never heard of that in Canada. I know he can invoke the War Measures Act if need be, but I think that's the extent of, and whip votes in the House. I know party leaders can do whip votes in the House. So what that means is, let's say you have a bill and it's some of your party members are for it, some of they're against. A whip vote means they all vote the same way. They don't get the choice. I don't think that should be allowed. I think every member should get to say whether you're in the same party or not, because that's the whole point of the objectivity, right? Is that there's somebody refusing it for a reason. I know there would be bad sides to that too, but I think it's a better safety net to remove that. But anyway, so the carrier group is going back. They're going to be from the Mediterranean to India. So they're basically, I guess, doing a big tour, of the area. And the new show, The Young Pope, it's got like a bunch of big names, like Diane Keaton and Jude Law in there and stuff like that. I don't watch it like that, but SGD was talking about it. Guess who gets brought up in there? Marina, how the hell do you say her last name? Yamovic, the one with the spirit cooking, that's linked to Pizzagate and all that. Yeah, they bring her up just really quick in there. So I think you're going to see a lot of Illuminati kind of stuff in there, well, considering it's the young Pope is the show. I just imagine the conspiracy theories that are going to fly out of that one. But it does look like it's degenerate, has a more degenerate look on Catholics and stuff like that. So, surprise, surprise, Hollywood trying to, do that, so, yeah. Steve Nilling, top... is Trump's pick for the top economist. This guy is economist advisor, is linked to DimeCore, which is linked to George Soros. So a lot of people are concerned about that. Again, I've always said the thing. SGT Bull Report was talking about, I like the guy over there. He's pretty good. And again, if you listen to these people for a long time, you do find, and I get it on my channel too, people agree with me, but as soon as I say something they slightly disagree with, that's it, I'm unsubbing, I'm out of here. And you get that. You're going to get that anyway. It's too bad. Because no two people are going to agree 100% on everything, that type of thing. But there's some people that, no, that's it. Trump is, new boss, same as the old boss. He's establishment. He's in with the Zionists, whatever. Others, well, don't give him a chance. And others are, no, he's the real deal, And then the other position is like mine, where, and some people have called me out on it. But again, don't keep a short-term memory when I talk about this stuff, because I've said right from the get-go, if he's the real deal, we're going to know fairly soon. If he's not the real deal, then we're going to know very soon anyway. Now the thing is he hasn't went after Clinton yet, but I think what he might be doing is putting in a whole bunch of executive orders that allow max prison sentences. That's what I watch for that. If he does something like that, he hasn't talked about it, but I mean he's playing his cards now, so we're now getting to see. And I think like anything, because I don't think he was anti-establishment in the sense that, he was like, as far, like me, where I want to throw all these world elites in jail, and then have them sentenced after a day in court to restore rule of law, and then after that, let the firing squads take place, or wherever. Send George Bush the Bushes to Iraq, where they destroyed, 1.5 million Iraqis died on a lie there. Send them and the CIA agents that put out this lie to get a war going. If the Iraqis want to run these people over with tanks or pull them apart head first, I don't care as long as their punishment exceeds our punishment. after they've been found guilty of the rule of law. Henry Kissinger, I'm okay with sending him back to Vietnam. Let the Vietnamese decide, as long as it's more more brutal than what we want, that's fine. Why the idea? George Soros sent him to. What would you say, George Soros? I mean, this guy has done so much destruction. I'd send him to Eastern Ukraine. Send him to Odessa. Let the family members of the pregnant lady that was strangled to death there. Let them decide the punishment. Like that. Let the people decide. And the list goes on. Obama and Clinton send him to Libya. Send Bill Clinton to Kosovo or wherever. It's just to restore rule of law. And the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, I don't know, run them over with steamrollers. I really don't care what happens, as long as it's above the death penalty. Like a regular firing squad death penalty or whatever. But let their victims decide the punishment after a rule of law and day in court. But I don't think Trump is going to do that. So I don't think he's going to go as hardcore as I would. But he might actually have some of these people put in jail. But right now, the laws don't really favor putting these people in jail. They just get fines and they get released. So maybe that's what he's waiting for. But until we see it, again, we can only judge Trump on his actions. So far, getting rid of negotiating NAFTA and getting rid of the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership, we all wanted that. Now here in Canada, yes, we don't have that. But Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership without the United States is really dead in the water. That type of thing. And I don't think these trade deals are going to go on. The other big one is that he's talking about getting out of the United Nations. That's something I think Canada should do, is get out of the United Nations. It's to watch that cookie crumble is a good thing. So if you don't think you've won anything with Trump and that he's still a New World Order guy, well, he might still be. But he's going to have to, no matter what, even if let's say he still is a New World Order guy, the wins you get, are still wins. And they won't be able to back away from those wins. So if the States moves away from the United Nations, which is going to do so much, you know what I mean? That's still a win. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. I know, because I don't know. I'm not saying, that's why I'm not, Trump's the best, cha-cha-cha. I don't know. We'll have to see. I really don't know. Again, we've been lied to so much. But anyway, yes, Trump, again, the people he's surrounding himself, the Goldman Sachs guys, et cetera, et cetera. But who does he have to pick from? That's the real question. And there is possibility, although, it's unlikely, that there are some top prominent Goldman Sachs guys that are actually want to do the right thing. Hopefully that's the case. Maybe it might not be. But again, it could just be the factions fighting from within too. It's like, is the new mob boss any better than the next mob boss, right? Around 30,000 ISIS in Iraq still, after more than 200,000 missiles or bombs dropped, 18,000 sorties, U.S. running low on bombs. The U.S. is actually running short on some certain types of bombs. But there's still 30,000 of these guys running around, after that many airstrikes. But again, we know why, because again, they are in the opposition. There's going to be, in 2017, a 34-country and over 10,000 troops to fight ISIS. I don't know exactly all the countries involved, but that's what they're talking about for 2017. China and Iran just signed Article 5 agreement to fight ISIS. Now, China has been talking about this for a while, that they're going to go into, fight ISIS. And they keep saying, we're going to send troops, we're going to send troops. So now the agreement is there, so when are they going to send the troops? I don't know. What the hell with the snow? I shouldn't have said nothing. I guess I'll be shoveling. Oh well. So it's snowing like crazy now. The Syrian Arab Army finds U.S.-made tow missiles. Surprise, surprise. We know about that. And I'll save that one for the last. Where was it? There was. I think this is the first T-90 was destroyed in the by. It looks like it was a Hezbollah crew, and it was killed off by a U.S.-made tow missile, I believe. But that's the first one that was destroyed. So where did they hit it exactly? I don't know. They obviously went past the reactive armor. So so there's a little bit of footage out there I saw the other day. 20 dead at a Trump rally in Nigeria. Their pro-Trump rally. I forget, like something like 60 people disappeared or 200 people disappeared. So yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there. It was kind of interesting. Okay, 30 billion. That's the problem when I. What was that? 30 billion. That's probably when I write at night and I can't see what I'm writing because I can't read my handwriting. Anyway, third carrier group to South China Sea. So that's 2 carrier groups going out now. Trump scrapped the Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership. Bill to cut the UN. Trump's going on that one. I will cover that. Oh, remember Cliff High? Maybe you guys watched them or not. On SGT was talking about UFO disclosure would start in 2017. Well, 12 million pages from the CIA has been declassified. Now, it's not on the net yet. You have to go and look at this stuff. But there you go. So this covers all kinds of stuff going back to 1947. So I guess it will disclose Roswell or something like that. It's going to talk about UFOs, telekinesis, all the fireside stuff. Bizarro world stuff. So 12 million pages have just been released, which will show how much the government actually lies to you. Okay. The other thing Trump is going to do, and this is a win if you're a small business owner, he's going to deregulate about 75 or 78% of regulations for small businesses. So that, I think what Trump is going to do, and this is what a lot of the economists are saying, Trump can't do anything about the collapse in the $20 trillion deficit. $20 trillion deficit. That's true. There's not much he can do about that. But if he gets a booming economy, he can take down the bankers. So maybe that's what he's waiting for. Get a booming economy, so when you take out the too big that fails, you're just killing those jobs, not the actual economy, that type of thing. So this could be a year or two to. If Trump's, and I remember Trump saying that I'm going to get some great stuff going. It's going to take me 2 years. But look what he's done in 6 days. That would normally take the full 4 years or 8 years to accomplish up here in Canada. Something to keep in mind. Again, government workers, many of them overpaid, and it's just wasteful. So the freeze on government workers hiring, but not the military. So that does concern me a bit. What am I doing for time here? Yeah. Germany warns of chemical attacks in the water and in the food. Of course, this is ISIS-inspired, of course, that type of thing. Now, conspiracy theorists, Dabu7 was coming. Oh, yeah, I check him out, too, from time to time. And, is this another false flag being prepared? I don't know. But then again, like I said, as Syria stabilizes the surrounding nations, of course, Europe is going to destabilize a little bit more. We've got the 10th Crusade going on over there with all the migrants coming in. So something to keep an eye on. Okay, this comes from New York City and hedge fund managers, and of course you've got Silicon Valley people. Basically, the bunkers in New Zealand, these world elites, they haven't stopped buying their bunkers, and there's one guy who's got up to 3,500 kilometers. They bought a total of 3,500 kilometers of property in 2016 for bunkers and stuff. Some of these are missile silos or whatever, I guess. So the world elites are still getting ready to bug out. Now, if anybody can't tell, we are in a societal collapse, whether it's economic or not. The United States is completely ripping itself apart, populism-wise. And that's going to escalate. How bad is it going to get? I don't know. Most of the people out there are saying the economic collapse is going to hit by the end of 2017. I still say no economic collapse till war comes. Because if you get an economic collapse, the bankers are going to be blamed. Yeah, they're going to try to spin it and blame it on Trump, but Trump does have the Trump card at the end of the day saying, well, everything was good, okay, I'm creating jobs. Again, nobody's actually started work yet, but there's a lot of jobs about to be created. So this is all good stuff, like carrier air conditioning and stuff like that. But there's still layoffs going on, like GM is laying off, I forget how many thousands of people. But I will say one thing, okay, about the Keystone Pipeline, for example, the other day. And it hit me like a ton of bricks when they announced it, even on the CBC, that 4,500 jobs are going to be coming to Canada. I think something like 20,000 in the States. Next to Justin Trudeau with the passing the Kinder Pipeline or whatever, that's the only hirings I've heard of, mass hirings I've heard of in 8 years. It was just those little bits. I'm not saying there wasn't any. I'm just saying on the news it's constantly layoffs. Downsizing and layoffs or outsourcing. That's all you hear about. Now you're hearing about jobs possibly going there. So if the bankers try to blame Trump for the collapse, I think the people that believe the mainstream media are going to believe the mainstream media no matter what. They're just not objective. The progressive lefties will believe whatever is anti-Trump. They don't care whether it's true or not. That type of thing. And the extreme pro-Trump people are the same thing, that Trump can do no harm. You know what I mean? You don't want to be caught in that radical left, radical right. You really want to be objective, because think about where we are in history. We are still close to a thermonuclear war. The Chinese are probably more riled up now than ever. And I think we're going to see the switch from Russia saber-rattling to China saber-rattling. Trump is definitely pointing in that direction. But there might be negotiation as well. Now, that said, again, the world elites, they're basically out there still doubling down on bunkers and stuff like that. Meanwhile, anybody else that talks about that is just a kook and a weirdo or whatever. So when we look at it, okay, if they're doing that and then they're telling us that we're the crazy ones, then you've got to start looking at it from a different point of view. You've got to start looking at it from, why are they still nervous? Why are they still scared? What is it that they're preparing for? These elite preppers or whatever, if these people have inside information, they're ride so high in the system that even if they're not at the top of it, they're close enough to hear the things on the grapevine that, okay, well, don't tell anybody else, but unofficially, yada yada yada. They're in that group, or I know you can't tell me, but if it's this, blah 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 blah. Here's the scenario. Just walk away if it's if it's true, don't tell me. But if it's true, just walk away. And the guy walks away, or nods, or gives the wink, or taps the table 32 times. Tap the table once for we're okay. Tap the table 32 times for. It's like Bart Simpson when he goes scuba diving with his grandpa. Okay, if you're in trouble, if you're okay, pull the line once. If you're not okay, pull it 32 times or something like that. Or however one. But it was funny. Yeah. Oh no, I killed my grandson. Oh, he's fine. Simpsons. Yeah. Oh well, yeah. The Oracle Simpson episodes, showing you the future. Bizarre. All right, I'll finish up on this. North Korea. Okay, Trump has been, had a couple of statements on North Korea. The North Koreans have responded, it looks like, by taking 2 of their mobile ICBM launchers and putting them in firing position. And these are the NK-14, the NK-12. Basically like the North Korean version of the Topolam, but kind of looks like they were built in the 50s, and they're, are there real missiles on there, or are they actually paper mache? We don't really know. But I think they're real missiles. The North Koreans do have missile technology. And there's been more reports of Iranian, North Korean collaboration on the missiles as of recent. It looks like basically between China, North Korea, and China would be the top dog here, and Iran, basically what this deal that they signed, this Article 5 agreement or whatever, or 5 agreements to fight ISIS, it allows China to sell weapons to Iran, which they've done before. So the missile technology that the Iranians are getting, I think they work on because they've done, they've sent Iranian scientists to North Korea before, and again, that ship in 2010, merchant ship full of missiles heading towards Iran from North Korea. There's been that. So I'm pretty sure the Iranians already have nukes, whether they would have just bought them from China or whatever. I think this agreement for the Chinese side of it is more to do with the refinement of oil and stuff like that. So the Iranians and the Chinese are basically, the Chinese are building refineries there. And that's the biggest problem the Iranians have, is they've got crude oil, but they can't refine the fuel, which they don't have the budget to do that. That's why Iran wanted to work with Saudi Arabia, saying, hey, look, we'll supply you the oil as well, work out a deal together, and we'll use your refineries, we'll both make money hand over fist, we'll both prosper. The Saudis didn't want to do that. Now, Luke from We Are Change did a little thing on how many airstrikes Trump has done under his presidency. Well, so far there's been one drone strike and maybe about 20 or 30 airstrikes. How many of that is on Trump's order, I don't know. But we do know, again, Obama's legacy was about, I forget how many drone strikes, 1,200 drone strikes, killing about 4,000 people, a lot of them innocent women and children. And again, we still don't know, and this is, again, the problems we're going to have with Trump, I think, is the authoritarian side of him, where the drone strike program, that needs to be, the criteria, the people need to know what the criteria are of that. This top secret stuff, I think, okay, to a degree, you can have some top secret, like how we go about the operations. But the core of the operation of, what the mandate is, for example, what will give you the legal right to go and drone strike somebody. This is not known. So we don't know why, how do you get on the terrorist watch list? We still don't know that. These things need to be defined to the populace, saying, if you meet this requirement here, you will be on a drone strike. That type of thing. And, really carve the thing in stone and make it very, very audible to people that if we're doing a drone strike, it's because this person has done this act, this act, this act, supplies this, whatever. Then people might be more open to the idea of a drone strike. I'm not against the drone technology, it's how it's used, like anything. But that said, when it's like we could do collateral damage 30 to 1, so if there's 30 innocent people or 30 innocent people standing around one terrorist, we're going to kill all those other 30 people, which creates more terrorism, because somebody kills my family, yes, I'm going to take vengeance against the people who've done it. And maybe not even, and I'm going up the ladder, I'm the one who ordered it. That's who I'd be going after. And I think that's a matter of time. But that said, that's Obama's legacy, so hopefully Trump won't be the same, but there's a good possibility he might be like that because of, he does seem to be a bit hawkish in some ways. He's not hawkish with Russia, but I think he's going to be hawkish towards Iran and hawkish towards China. It's what he's been signaling that through his campaign, so I'm not surprised on this. And I know some people say, well, Reg, you were saying during the campaign that if Trump, if we got Hillary Clinton, we'd be in a thermonuclear war almost right away. Well, yeah, Hillary Clinton was definitely not an option. There's everything I said about her. She's a maniac. I don't know how anybody could. The person wasn't disagreeing with me, but then they said, well, now you're saying we've got to watch out for Trump. But I've always said that. I've always said, okay, we don't know if he's a real deal or not. And I've always said my concerns are going to be with Iran. Now, why my concerns with Iran is his closeness to Israel. And that's any politician. Like, we can't vote for Zionists anymore. That said, there's a lot of people out there that are not quite Zionists, but they're so pro-Israel that they tend to be a bit blinded by being, they're not objective when it comes to Israel, which gets us into all these wars for the Greater Israel Project and all those things. And the Balfour Declaration, you look at that, how it came to be. The Clerigly Plan, you can understand the migrant crisis, all these things, and of course, the Hegelian dialectic problem, reaction, solution, and of course the, rules for radicals of Saul Alinsky, and then of course the Soviet-style ideological subversion. If you understand just those things, then you get a good grasp of how they're playing the game. With Trump, I think what they're going to try to do is just manipulate him or trap him into a corner to have to respond. So, this could lead to Israel doing their typical false flags. Oh my God, somebody attacked us, come in and save us. And then next thing you know, you're into another war on behalf of Israel. And of course, I don't think it'll work. Israel, I think, is going to go down the tubes anyway, because as Syria stabilizes, Again, I don't think the Iranians are going to be easy to dupe into a war. Now, I watched that footage of the Iranians firing anti-aircraft guns at some sort of UFO. They don't know. I don't know what it was. Now, remember, there was a U.S. general, I can't remember the name of, that said two things. Or there was two generals. One said, "Don't worry about the UFOs; they're ours." And there's other people that have said, "There's only two types of UFOs: theirs and ours. Who is theirs? Who are they? So I do know the black budget. There's like the TR-3 thing. It looks like a flying triangle. It's apparently an anti-gravity machine. We know about their high altitude, blimps. These things go thousand. And then there's this other thing, really weird looking. It looks like a cigar shape, and it looks like there's these like square, almost like how you see solar panels come out on the space station. And they come out, and it looks a very Jules Verne-ish type of thing, but you can't quite see it well because they're always at such high altitude. It's basically just a silhouette. And there's these long cigar-like shaped things that they got up high. Who knows what kind of technology it actually is? But the Iranians were shooting at it. I don't think their flak guns came anywhere near it. But that's kind of, something to keep in mind. And the Iranians are saying that it's U.S. spy planes or whatever. They don't know what it is. So, yeah, they were shooting at it. Very interesting. But then again, they'd probably shoot at anything anyway. Kind of how the world works over there. Do you know what it is? Nah, just shoot at it. Okay, why not? Yeah. Way it goes. So North Korea, I don't know how Trump is going to deal with North Korea specifically. I do know that Trump is talking about beefing up the THAAD missile system around North Korea. So we're not getting anything new on that. So I'm not worried about North Korea taking over the planet anytime soon, even with their limited nukes. Yes, they could do damage, mostly in the region, that type of thing. I think most of the nukes that would be fired would be shot down because there's fewer of them. With Russia and China, it's a different story because there's so many of them that you're just not going to be able to intercept them all. You might intercept like 1,000 nukes coming from them, but there's like 5,000 coming at you times all the times 10 with all the warheads. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that I don't know with North Korea. But then again, would Donald Trump actually try to do regime change in North Korea? I mean, if they're willing to go after Assad, you know what I mean? Like it's really hard to say. I don't think he would, because I don't think the Chinese would allow it. But we know that there's going to be a lot of saber rattling under Trump. Again, the United States always has to have an enemy because it's a militarized, death and death-based economy. So that you have to factor in as well. That hasn't changed. Trump might not. I don't think Trump is going to be a peace president. I don't think you're ever going to get a peace president until you take down the military-industrial complex. It's okay to be able to defend your country, but to have almost 800 bases worldwide, that type of thing, it's so over-militarized when it doesn't need to be. The United States could defend itself from any. It has enough, even with all the cutbacks. It has enough. It could defend itself from any foe. From a defensive point of view. Sending all your troops all over the planet. Well, then you're leaving yourself spread pretty thin. That type of thing. So again, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, Trump has been talking about more military spending. That type of thing. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. So far, a lot of wins coming from Trump, but there's still concerns. So I don't think he's. I think Trump is going to probably play out more like Stephen Harper, where we got a lot of wins under Harper, but we got a lot of losses under Harper as well. So that's why I know, and a lot of people get mad at me when I talk about anything pro Harper. But I wasn't pro Harper. I'm objective on it. There was employment was going up slowly, but it was going up. The Canadian economy right now is completely stalled out. That type of thing. So with Justin Trudeau up here, I mean, he's definitely not. Trump is going to be better for the Canadian economy than Trudeau. I mean, that's clear as day. So that could set us up again. If there was a time for a nationalist government to pop up in Canada, now is the time. I'm looking at some of the candidates that are running for the Conservative Party in Canada. You got Kelly Leitch, there's another guy, and then you got Kevin O'Leary. I'm thinking Dennis Leary. Kevin O'Leary. Kevin O'Leary, I think, would be okay for the economy in a lot of ways, but the guy's also pro-carbon tax, from what I heard, which is weird considering he's a capitalist he is. other two ladies, Kelly Leach, I don't know how she would be. And then there's this other guy. I just saw his web or his Facebook post. I can't remember his name, but anyway, he was talking about kind of a lot of them are doubling down on trying to be Trump lights, which is a step in the right direction. Definitely a step in the right direction. Canada's not ready for a Trump. Well, some of us are, but we don't want a war hawk. We don't want to be at war in the Ukraine. We don't want to be, I think people have had enough of this going around the world trying to police the world type stuff. And Canada just follows along on that. That said, one thing, Trump hasn't really been too harsh towards Canada. There's going to be some negotiations on NAFTA and stuff like that, but he's mostly pointing at Mexico. And the reason being is, and again, the left should be for this, is that, number one, the Mexicans don't pay their people as well. They don't have the same environmental regulations. So they're competing on an unfair playing field, the same with China. And he said, Canada, they pay their people well. Their regulations are reasonable. And out. Okay, out you go. Scoop. Out. Watch it. Let my cat out. Stuff like that. So it's very, very clear that I was like, my cat wants back in. I just put her inside. Trump is basically going to be better for the economy here in Canada. About 40% of our gas exports and oil, I think, goes to the States. So Trump probably realizes, well, we can't play too hard against the Canadians because they could really cross-check us into the boards if they play hardball. The softwood lumber thing has been going on forever. I mean, I'll be dead and gone, they'll still be arguing over softwood lumber. I just let you out. Come back in. You're a bad cat. I'm going to throw you in the garbage. Don't ignore me when I'm giving you an empty print. Oh, jeez. But anyway, yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what's there. Now, military-wise, I don't know how this is going to play out between Trump and Putin, but right now, it's kind of dying down a bit. There's if it just goes neutral, I'm okay. That'll be good for humanity. I'm noticing, the focus is now with the mainstream media is just to demonize Trump, which is good, because then it's not saber-rattling with Russia quite as much. But I have been noticing, and maybe you guys notice, when I'm on my cell phone and I'm doing my research, I have a hard time watching Next News videos and RT videos. So is this who the Next News RT... It's just those two channels. Everybody else, as soon as they press the video plays. But there's sometimes I have to do it 10 times. Sometimes I just cannot watch their videos on my cell phone. And just those two channels. RT News, RT America, and Next News Network. Those three I have a hard time. And I think they're of the 200 fake news sites, Russian propaganda, as they all say. Obviously, RT is Russian propaganda. We know this. They're never critical of the Kremlin, obviously. But it doesn't mean everything they put out is a lie. In fact, they're quite factual and truthful on a lot of stuff. They got pretty good journalism there. But again, we're going to start to see the flip, I think, with Trump. And this is a big one where, again, the Russians have had 8 years to just make the U.S. look bad by telling the truth, which is, work to their advantage. But now Trump is already starting to call the bluff of Putin, which is going to be a good thing for humanity, because if Putin doesn't go along with it, his own people will turn on him. Meaning, okay, well, we'll lift Russian sanctions if you guys help us destroy ISIS in Syria. So Trump is talking this way to Putin. Putin does seem to be warm to the idea. But that doesn't mean, again, he's going to be warm to it on, again, the Russians don't do everything covert, so they'll say yes, but then not want to work with whoever. Now, mind you, this could be just a new ploy from the United States to make, again, we'll play on the open, we'll play well. Again, we'll have to watch what their actions are. But if we start seeing coalition forces working with the Russians in Syria, then you know who they're hitting. You know that they're going to be taking out the real ISIS guys. I have a hunch that, I wouldn't say exactly boots on the ground, but there's going to be more U.S. support. There's a report out there that the Russians and the Americans this comes from a U.S. general, did coordinate on an attack in the sense of they gave each other intel. Other than that, it wasn't jets in the air. The Russians had jets in the air, but not the U.S. And then there was a strike with Turkey. So those are the only but it's a good sign. It's a good sign, considering only a year ago or so, Turkey shot down a Russian jet, which could have put us on the brink of thermonuclear war. If the Russians didn't have cooler heads, again, we would have already been at war. So I think the Russians played this one well. But now it's time for the truth. So if Donald Trump is going to still be dropping truth bombs everywhere, and he, tells Putin, okay, well, you have to do this if you want the sanctions lift, and that type of thing, then we're stepping in the right direction. If not, it'll escalate and we'll have a war anyway. Now, the world elites, they're not giving up on getting us into war. They want these wars. These bankers clearly want these wars. Because the alternative is they will be hanging from street lamps if they don't get us into a war. And I still say there will be no economic collapse till war comes, but it doesn't mean we won't hit economic turmoil. Now, if Trump is doing what I think he's doing, and I'll just leave on this, this will probably be the best. It's going to be pain no matter what. But if what he's doing is getting the economy, velocity of money going through small business and people hiring by deregulation, like what they did about 18 months after the Great Depression, is they deregulated everything and let people just start businesses like crazy. Then you can get rid of the too big to fails. Because if you got rid of them now, that's the only thing floating the economies, right? Which would implode, and then, of course, they would blame Trump on it. So what I think Trump's going to do to manage this is get people working outside these too big to fails. Yes, there's going to be millions of layoffs, not tens of thousands, but millions of layoffs globally, and that'll probably collapse a lot of other countries, which could possibly set us up for that one world currency, and that could have been the plan. If we see a one world currency, then we know that was the plan. They just, diverted the plan, and then we've all been had, and Trump's not the real deal. But if not, then Trump is the real deal. Anybody that doesn't, deregulate is going to be out of business or work deals with the states. Which, we're only at day 6 of Trump's presidency, which to have this much to talk about on day 6 of any president's presidency is a first in history. All right, so anyway, I'll leave it at that. So if you like this kind of content, please consider making a donation to the channel. Links down below. Thank you so much to everybody who has. Next time, rate, subscribe, share, comment, like. Be true to yourselves. Be true to others. Always do the right thing. And have yourselves a great day. Good day, hi, and welcome. All right, it's nice and mild out today. Snowed a bit yesterday, but not enough for me to have to pick up the darn snow shovel. Aha! I win, you lose. I just saw a snowflake. Okay. Anyway, spoke too soon. All right, so World War III update. Got lots and lots of stuff to cover. I really don't know how much longer we're going to be allowed to have opinions. I was watching the CBC yesterday, and they're just, the Google and Zuckerberg, they're going to be putting in new algorithms very soon. Don't worry about this fake news anymore, people. It's going to, we're going to save you. So the crackdown is coming. God knows when it's going to hit. So we'll take it as far as we can. It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to go over to North Dakota. Now, I know some people out there, just give me the freaking military movements, but you have to understand how everything plays in. And, of course, there's just things that you see that is, like this one, okay, if this isn't odd to you, I can't think of another example in history where you saw something like this, quite like this. The pipeline there over in North Dakota, or South Dakota, where the pipeline protest is there, I can't remember if it's North Dakota or South Dakota. Beautiful state. I remember going through it. I never got to see the monument there, but yeah. Anyway, so the pipelines go there. They brought in the Avenger air defense system. Okay. Now the Avenger air system basically is like these 2 boxes, okay, with 4 Stinger missiles in it. You know the shoulder-launched Stinger missile that you use to shoot down enemy helicopters and low-flying aircraft, that type of thing. Yeah, that thing. And in between it, okay, you've got this, usually got this spinning radar antenna on the top, and then you've got a, I guess it's a FLIR system mixed in with the laser range finding system, whatever. And then right in the middle of that is a 20-millimeter Vulcan minigun, pretty much. And that, I guess, is to shoot down whatever. So this is at a pipeline protest. The reasoning was given something to do that they're just using the technology to detect drones. Even so, do you not think that's a little bit overkill? And we're, there's no militarization of the police. They got a freaking air defense system there for protesters. what are the protesters flying in with B-52s or something? Like, what the hell? Yeah. And they say I'm the crazy one. Okay. The peace talks in the Astana, I guess is how you say it, over there in Kazakhstan. You've got the Syrian Arab Army representatives there. You've got rebel groups represented there. You've got, obviously, the Syrian government is represented there. Those talks are still going on, which hopefully lead to some sort of resolve to a degree, or at least a ceasefire. Because I don't think you can really get the United States involved in the ceasefire. It's only going to come from the rebels or ISIS that you'll get ceasefire. And I think you'll probably get some ceasefires. Problem is ISIS is made up of probably about roughly 1,100 different jihadi groups. They might not necessarily all identify as ISIS, but they're really moving as a faction, whether it's the rebel groups or ISIS or Al-Nusra or Al-Sham or whatever the new ones that they keep renaming. That's one of those things so they're still talking. The Iranians definitely don't want the U.S. in there. The Russians are in there. So Turkey, I think, is also in there. So the talks are going on anyway. So we'll have to keep an eye on those. Trump is already sending an embassy architect to Jerusalem. Today, I guess, would be day 6 of Trump. Now, one thing about Trump, you got to bring him on. I know people are sick of hearing about him, but I mean, it's so prevalent in the news, and it is a part of what's going on. Is he anti-establishment? I don't know how anti-establishment he is, but so far, the Trump wrecking ball that's come in has taken out Trans-Pacific Trade Partnership, removed LGBTQ from the White House page, removed climate change from the White House page. Is basically going after NAFTA. That's not a done deal, but I think he's signing the order either today, tomorrow, next day, whatever. I mean, this guy hasn't taken a day off since he's been, he hasn't went and played a round of golf yet. Obama, I think, played golf for 2 months before he did anything. Speculating there, but you know what I mean. He's supposed to be appointing, allowing alternative news into the press conference. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. He's also talking about devaluing the U.S. currency, which could be a way to write off that. But he's also talking about a lot of things that are going to increase it. He's talking about a hiring freeze for the U.S. government, with the exception of the military, which is kind of, again, with Trump, look at him more like a gray area of wins and losses. The other thing that's a win is that he's talking about working with the Russians. Now, there's rumors that the Russians have worked with the U.S. in airstrikes in the past couple of days, which the State Department is denying this, because what it was Russia flying a bunch of Su-30s with some Turkish, so it's a NATO ally working. So Turkey is switching to the Russian side. How far they'll switch or play both sides, I don't know. With Turkey, they're kind of a bit of a wombat all over the place on Syria. That's what happened. So that's not direct from Russia, U.S. working. But Trump is still talking that talk. Whether that'll happen or not, remember, there's a lot of people that are probably going to be against him on this. The other thing is that the Keystone Pipeline pretty much approved now. The thing is it'll still be a little while before shovels in the ground. Now, that said, I can't really say that he's created more jobs here in Canada than Trudeau has, but he's done it a lot quicker. Trudeau's got the Kinder Morgan pipeline and what's the other one there? There's the 2 pipelines. Now this one, it's funny how the Liberals, no, we were for this all the time. They were kind of playing the fence, pandering to get elected. So, again, one of 2 things happened for Trudeau is, so far Trudeau's been basically doing everything Harper was doing 10 times down. Doubling down on it. Can't speak this morning. And stuff like that. So I'm sure Trudeau's like, his electorate is completely pissed with him. He's pretty much, but if he could do that with a balanced budget, it wouldn't be so bad. But so about 4,500 jobs are going to be going roughly to here. When that takes place, who knows? Other things, going on and on and on. There's a lot of wins with Trump, but we still don't know at the end of the day. The Jerusalem thing, trust me, that could create war in the Middle East like that, moving basically the American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So it's really hard to say where we're going to end up there, but yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it. A little off topic, 3.3